Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. Today's lesson is going to be about dividing monomials or dividing polynomials by monomials. Alright, so simply put, we're basically going to follow these instructions on the screen where it says split up the numerator and then divide each part of the numerator by the denominator. So this is how it's going to look. So I'm going to have 24c squared f to the fourth g to the fourth divided by 4 f to the fourth g to the second. And then I'm going to do the next one. And I'm going to have negative 20 f to the 6 g to the second divided by 4 f to the fourth g to the second. And then I'm going to do the last part. Negative 32 f to the fourth g to the second divided by 4 f to the fourth g to the second. Now, when doing this, you have to remember to subtract the exponents, because when we divide the coefficients and subtract the exponents. Okay, so, and we only subtract if we have common exponents. If we have the same variable on the top and the bottom, then we subtract those exponents. So first we're going to have to divide. 24 divided by 4 is 6. We don't have any other c's to match up to c squared, so we keep c squared. Now, we have a f to the fourth and we have a f to the fourth. Well, both of them have f's. We subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. That's going to leave us with f to the 0, and we'll simplify this later. And then we have our g's right here. And we're going to do 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is positive 2, so that's going to be g to the positive 2. Now we're going to take a look at the next one. Negative 20 divided by positive 4 is negative 5. And then we have our f's. One has f to the 6th, the other one is f to the 4th. We subtract the exponents. 6 minus 4 is positive 2, so that's going to be f squared. And then we have g, both of them have a g, and that's 2 minus 2, which is 0, so that's going to be g to the 0 power. And the last one, negative 32 divided by positive 4 is a negative 8. They both have f4 and f to the fourth, and they both have g to the second, which both of those are just going to end in 0, so f to the 0, g to the 0. Now, one of the rules that we need to remember is that anything to the 0 power is 1. So essentially it's going to disappear. So anything to the 0 power is just going to be 1, but 1 times anything is itself. So really those exponents of zeros, they really just go away, and the variable. So our final answer is what's left over. Our final answer would be 6c squared minus 5f to the second power minus 8. Final answer. Let's take a look at another one. So once again, we're gonna split it up. So this is gonna say 42, and we can write out the a's if we want. A, C, C, D over 6a. And then we have 60 A and D over 6a. Now, instead of subtracting the exponents, we can use this strategy to just cancel out, and whatever's left over is left over. So the a's cancel out. 42 divided by 6 is 7, and then we bring down everything else. We have a group of c's and we have a group of d's. Well, c to the third and d to the second. Now we're going to go over here and do the same thing. We have two a's, those go away, and we have an a and we have a group of d's. And 60 divided by 6 is 10, and that's going to leave us with a to the first power and then d to the second power. So our final answer is going to be 7c to the third, d to the second, plus 10 AD to the second power. Final answer. All right, let's take a look at one last problem here. Once again, we're going to split it up. So 25n squared, or I can write 2n's, z squared, or I can write 2z's, divided by negative 5n z. And then I have a negative 50 n r, because of r squared. And then there's 1z divided by negative 5 n to n z. And then we have a positive 35 n squared, which is n, and then a z, divided by negative 5 n and z. Now we go through, divide our coefficients, and get rid of our, cancel out our variables. So n cancels out there, and a z cancels out there. 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5. And we still have an n and a z. Over here, we're going to get rid of an n. We're going to get rid of a z. We have our r's left. Negative 50 divided by negative 5 is positive 10. And then we have r squared. And over the last term, the n's one n cancels out, one z cancels out. We're left with an n. A positive 35 divided by a negative 5 is a negative 7, and we have one n. Now we just put it all together. Our final answer is going to be negative 5nz plus 10r squared minus 7n. Final answer. And that will conclude our lesson for today.